I think we should start with the Patriots because they are America's team.
Well, I don't know how America would feel about that.
Yeah, America does kind of hate the Patriots.
Yeah.
We're looking at the Patriots at Broncos this week. Interesting fact, which I heard pointed out a couple times this week, is all of their opponents this year have been undefeated at the time of playing the Patriots. And of course, that wasn't too hard. Buffalo was 0-0.
Yeah. Yeah.
Still, it's been 0-0, 1-0, 2-0, 3-0, and now this week 4-0. So,
Yeah, and it's scary because next week it's not going to be that situation.
no, the week after it's Tennessee, who's not.
Yes.
They are not 4-0. I love the Broncos, although I've always hated the Broncos. I've made no mistake about it. I just can't stand the Broncos.
Are you're just a fan of the new regime? Is that
No? Well, I'm not a fan of it. I just but I have always had an irrational dislike for the Broncos. I recently met a kind of a new buddy over the last couple of years, and he's a big Broncos fan, and that was really the only thing I didn't like about him. I don't know how you can't be impressed. One thing that I always when I hear the kind of the NFL fan at large completely get something wrong, I tend to start defending that wrong thing, and the Broncos are a classic example of this. Even now, at 4-0, no one's giving the Broncos any credit. And you know why that is, Tim? Ask me why that is.
Why is that?
Because people are stupid, Tim.
Is that you think that's the answer, or is it because they've kind of flown under the radar a little bit?
Well, this is what it is. There are two sides of the ball in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
One of them is called offense,
Mm-hmm.
and that is where you try to score points. And the second one is called defense. And on that part of it, you try to stop the other team from scoring points. And more or less all of the Super Bowl teams of all time have all had great defenses.
Yes.
And yet the Broncos are off to probably the best defensive start of any team in the last decade.
Ridiculous.
And no one wants to give them any credit because they're not scoring points. They're saying, well, they could have lost to the Bengals and this and that, and maybe the Cowboys aren't that good. No. This team, I'm not sure how they're doing it because they have a lot of the same guys as last year, and the last year they wouldn't have been able to stop Seekonk. I mean, they were bad last year. So I don't know how they're doing it. I don't know if you give McDaniels all the credit, but he had a vision for this team, obviously, of being kind of a grinded out, great defense team, and he felt that, he could do that without Jay Cutler. He didn't feel like Jay Cutler was the right quarterback for that, and they made a fair deal for Cutler. Kyle Orton hasn't thrown an interception yet. I think that's and even still, people were saying, oh, they're going to lose their next 4 games. They're no good. I do not see that happening.
I mean, they're number one. They're the stingiest defense in the league. And I was looking at some of the numbers, and I was surprised by the numbers because I didn't realize. I mean, you look at the score, you get, you run down the scores, but I was just surprised at how few points they're actually allowing. It's they're averaging 6.5 points per game.
That is less than a touchdown.
Yes, well, less than a touchdown and an extra point.
That is less than a touchdown with the extra point, correct?
Yes, but I mean, in the fact that they held Dallas last week. That was an impressive effort. I mean, Cleveland, but
but if you hold an NFL opponent to under a touchdown, it's a rarity.
Mm-hmm.
And Dallas, they held them to 10 points, and Dallas may not be a great team, but Dallas put up 31 points.
Yeah, they're a good
against
offense.
The Giants.
Yeah.
I mean, and the Giants have a real good D, so people like to pick their spots where they use stats. I try to look at the whole big picture, and I mean, I really look at what teams are actually doing. Now, the Denver's pass defense has been helped by the fact that they have played poor pass offenses.
Mm.
I mean, they played Jamarcus Russell, they played Brady Quinn. The Bengals' pass offense is kind of subpar, so some of that is skewed a little bit by the opponent, but their run defense. They've played against good run defense. I mean, extremely good run offenses. Dallas can run the ball. Cincinnati has been running the ball. Even Oakland runs the ball well, and none of them. They all struggled against Denver. Now, here's a name that you've never heard of, Tim. No one's ever heard this name. Even his parents do not know, might not know that this guy plays in the NFL. This guy's Ronald Fields. Do you know that name?
No, I do not.
He's their nose tackle. They brought this guy in from San Francisco where he never started, and he's if a 3-4 defense is supposed to revolve around the nose tackle, he is doing an incredible job. I mean, their whole defense is flowing around him. He's the guy that is enabling everything else to work. So I got to vote for Ronald Fields as the best player no one, even his parents, has ever heard of.
Well, I mean, we're seeing the advantage of bringing in a mind like Mike Nolan to run that defense. And they're right now 77.3 rushing yards per game because, I don't memorize it. I write it all down.
That's best.
And that's number 5 in the league.
Right.
So, I mean, this as good as the Baltimore Ravens were supposed to be last week. This team right now is even better.
They're comparable. They're comparable.
Well, but I mean overall, because when you take into account
overall, Denver's defense is better than Baltimore's, I would say.
And when you take into account some of the changes that happened in the offseason, I mean, they brought in not a lot of new guys on the defensive side of the ball, but they brought in some new faces on offense. Obviously, Josh McDaniels wanting to remake that offense a little bit. And I think those guys are what's been key to them taking that next level, even more so than bringing in Kyle Orton.
I would have to disagree with you there.
I think they've got more.
The offense was better last year than it is this year, I think, probably.
But I'm just saying, tailoring the offense to a Josh McDaniels type of offense, similar to what he wants to run, instead of just going with Denver always did for years under Mike Shanahan. I think that's where
right. It's different. It's different. It also helps when you have their left tackle, Ryan Clady.
Mm-hmm.
He's been in the league now for 20 games. He started all 20 games at left tackle, and he's yet to allow a sack.
That's pretty good.
That is pretty good. It is tough to be better than that. So I think the big question is how good are the Patriots? I mean, the Patriots are favored going into this game, which again to me is kind of ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, the Patriots still have not played great football. They played good football against Baltimore. And I think that gives you a sense of maybe how good Baltimore might be or might not be. I mean, I'm not going to be 1,000,000% shocked if Baltimore fades to a 9-7 or an 8-8 type of team. I could be wrong, but I'm not sure they're that great. And I'm not sure the Patriots aren't that great right now. The Patriots are going to be better. But I foresee big struggles ahead in Denver. Did you see something out of this team on Sunday that makes you think that they're ready to go on the road and beat a team that's playing great?
The only thing that I could say would make me think that would be the fact that they are more confident. They are starting to feel like it's coming together. But in terms of what actually happened on the field, I mean, there's still a lot of miscues. There's still a lot of things that need to get cleaned up. There's still a lot of interesting things going on defensively, where they are such a strong defense right now, at least on paper and in the statistics.
I don't think that even their statistics are that good. I think the offense has been such a ball control offense, and they've been able to keep the defense off the field. I think that's skewing a little bit. I don't really think the defense has been. I think they've got a pretty average defense.
And there's been some big plays against them, and some of the big plays that have happened, could have been costly. I mean, there was the one play that Darius Butler broke up right on the end zone. I mean, if he doesn't make that play, that's a totally different game.
Yeah, there were several plays in that game. But it could have. There were plays both sides. I mean, they were a very evenly matched team. I actually think that the Patriots, and I can't even believe that this is coming out of my mouth. I kind of think that the Broncos have the advantage in coaching in this game.
Really?
Well, here's why. I mean, the Patriots are doing, their offense is basically exactly the same as it has been over the last 2 years. They really haven't changed it much. It's that quick strike. It's the same offense. Whereas, so McDaniels knows that offense better than anybody. And then on the other side of the ball, Denver's not running that offense really. They're running something that they're a little different. They're run first, and their defense is doing something different. I just think it'll be interesting to see how much McDaniels calls on his prior experience with Belichick. I think that he knows this team better